LEC's graduate consultancy scheme has been running for over 5 years now, and since the scheme started we've placed around 300 students into industrial settings. Students have an option to complete either a short project, a long dissertation project, or a shorter piece of work, which may even be paid over the summer period in addition to their course activities. The short projects are primarily available for master students, and these take 5 weeks from the start of November until mid-December, and this gives the students some experience of project managing a quite specific piece of work that isn't too big. It's quite achievable within 5 weeks, and gives them some experience of meeting companies, talking to them about their issues and coming up with a solution at the end of that. The long projects, for the master students, these start around Easter time and they run until September, when the students have to hand in their formal dissertation. And over the summer, the number of visits the student makes can vary, dependent on the need of a project. They may be in the field collecting data, it may be more office-based, or they may even go overseas to work with a partner in Europe or even further afield. And similar for the undergraduate students, those projects are a little longer, around 9 months in duration. And again, they give the students some first-hand experience of working with industry on a specific problem, and marrying their academic interests with something which has a real-world impact.
Naturally, universities are a place for academic learning, but given the way that the jobs market is structured currently, employability has to be a very important dimension of a student's training. And so what we've tried to engineer here is an opportunity for marrying what you learn academically with a real-world situation in order to gain that employability experience as a hands-on exercise. So the master's dissertation projects have an academic supervision component to them, and have to have, because obviously the university needs to guarantee that there is an important academic dimension to the learning experience for the student. We do that by marrying an academic with the project. Initially, that is generated through enterprise and business partnership with the company in question. Then we solicit an appropriate academic from within inside the Environment Centre to come into that and provide the academic oversight for the student, and they will help develop the academic angle and hopefully also provide added value for the company themselves.
With all the placements that we offer, we provide a project list to students, and then we ask the students to come up with their top 3 choices. Based on this, we ask the students to come into an interview where we ask them about their motivations for doing those particular projects, and after this we hopefully can allocate one of those top choices to the student and ask them to conduct that piece of work, whether it's a short or a long-term project. Following this, we arrange a half-day induction session with an external HR consultant to help prepare the students for work in industry.
My name is Zareena Longdale, and my background is in human resources, training and teaching, education. My role is to run the placement induction workshop, which follows on nicely from the interview. In the workshop, we try and encourage the students to discuss different issues they might expect to find in the workplace. They're working for small and medium-sized organisations, so from my own experience, I can bring some of the issues that might arise within those organisation sizes. We also like to encourage the students to develop negotiation skills, think about things that they might have to consider when they have their first meetings, presentation skills, their social skills, what they need to wear, how they need to present themselves personally. All things that they take naturally as being an undergraduate, but now approaching the real decision about going into the workplace, what is getting rid of that hat that is I'm no longer a student and now I want to be a professional.
Being based in the Environment Centre, we offer a wide range of projects, from the more hard science projects involving lab work through to more social science-based projects which may involve questionnaires and interviews with members of the public and key stakeholders. We can work with a wide variety of different companies, from small SMEs, consultancies, people who are doing hands-on work in the field on behalf of other companies, up to much larger organisations such as the National Trust, United Utilities, the Environment Agency, the key players within the North West and further afield as well.
When some ways, we're a traditional environmental consultancy, but what makes us a little bit unusual from the rest is that we tend to deal with hard-edged environmental problems where people have got problems with regulators, so people like the Environment Agency, Local Planning Authority or Environmental Health. If there's a real problem that needs to be sorted out to implement a planning permission, for example, or if there's an accident or incident, spillages where there can even be prosecution pending, we go in there and we provide the scientific solution to that problem that will be driven by one of the UK's regulators. We've got a client who was just starting a pump and treat scheme who, to be honest, was a little bit edgy about cost. So we said, well, we can actually do this for you for free by using the master's student if you allow, Claire to write it up, and it just fitted so wonderfully into their need and our need.
Well, I decided to leave work because of the recession. I wasn't actually made redundant, but the possibility was there. And I looked around at various universities, but Lancaster had the best course and the most relevant for what I was looking for, which was to continue my career in contaminated land. The industry placement scheme was fantastic for me. It gave me an opportunity to get involved with an industry-based company who thankfully offered me a job in the end. But it's also a great opportunity for anyone, even if they don't get employment out of it, to get some experience of what it's like in the real world, if you like.
It was a fantastic project to run, and since then money's become a little bit freer for them, and we've got 2 new pieces of work out of that client, so it's worked for Claire and it's worked for us.
We also offer summer internships, and these can be between 1 and 2 weeks in length, and it gives the student some experience of going out to a company, perhaps making just 1 or 2 visits, meeting with the business, finding out what the problem is, and going away and doing a desk-based piece of research over that period and then handing it into the company at the end. Obviously that doesn't form part of the course, but it's a great way of getting some quick experience and potentially getting a reference out of an employer as well.
During my undergraduate degree, I did an internship at a chemical company. I looked at their carbon and water footprint. I went to their site to have a look around, collected data from them on their water, electricity, power usage. I went away and analysed the data. I wrote a report with recommendations for improvement and went back to present this report to the company. The internship appealed to me as a way to apply what I had learnt from my degree. It gave me experience of working with businesses, and it was paid, which is a bonus. I would definitely recommend this internship to other students. It allows you to add something to your CV that other graduates don't have.
My project was working with a company called Untitled, who produce a hibiscus drink called Simply Hebe, which they sell to the UK market and East African markets. And it's about providing an extra income for subsistence farmers in Uganda, and the aspect of it that I was looking at was to do with climate change and how the farmers are adapting to climate change and potential solutions to the issue in the area. I had to travel around a lot of the farms in the rural areas and interview all the farmers on a list of research questions that I'd come up with. The guy that I was with, Rick, I'd watch him interacting with the farmers and looking at what he was doing with them and what skills he was teaching them to see where the project was going and stuff. So I was observing and interviewing at the same time. Overall, it was probably one of the most challenging experiences I've ever had. But I think it was also one of the most worthwhile in terms of realising not only learning about another culture and stuff, but realising what I want to do after I finish my degree and things. I think after going, it just reinforced the fact that I want to stay on at Lancaster, and I want to apply for the MRes in Environment and Development, which allows you to have 3 months in a developing country, and I'd hope to go back out to Africa, maybe not the same place, but a different place maybe, and just develop all the stuff I've learnt further.
Following the completion of a placement, we always ask the students and the host companies for feedback. The feedback from the host companies is very useful for the student because it gives them an indication of how professional they have been and to what extent they've given the company what they required at the start of the work. And also it gives the student an idea of whether they could use that employer as a potential referee in future when they go for job applications following the completion of their degrees. A number of our students every year gain direct employment with the host companies they've done work for. Although we obviously can't guarantee this, we do find that if students forge very positive relationships from the outset and work very closely with their companies, then there's always a chance of getting a job with them afterwards. And if they don't get that, then the fact they've got this experience always lends itself to what an employer is looking for. And students often approach us and say, have you got anyone that you know might be interested in me working for them? And we can put them in contact with those people at any time throughout the degree or afterwards. And in many cases this has led to students being employed by contacts we've had.
For many years I have been at open days where you have potential applicants that are posing to you the question of how you can help them enter the job market. And if you want to remain in the environment sector, then a master's and a significant block of work experience are now prerequisites for competing in that job market. The whole idea of what we've tried to engineer here is an opportunity to both get your master's training in addition to providing you with that important component of work experience that you require, often leading to further work experience through the contacts you develop through those projects.